All of us, right? Memory failures are common. We all have memory failures in our daily life. And this is perfectly normal. Whether it be forgetting your car keys, not remembering the name of an acquaintance, or failing to show up for an appointment on time, we all forget things. We're not computers, and our memories are not perfect. But there are things that we can do to improve our memory functioning. Let's imagine for a minute that you have a medical illness that causes impaired memory, substantially impaired memory. Some have neurological causes, like multiple sclerosis, traumatic brain injury, stroke. Others have non-neurological causes, disorders such as cardiac failure, diabetes, or perhaps major depression. There are thousands of people out there that struggle, really truly struggle with their memory functioning every single day. But we can help them. Recent research at Kessler Foundation has focused on memory rehabilitation. And I'm here to tell you today that we are making progress. But before I go on to tell you about some of the techniques we've developed, I want to talk for just a minute about the memory process. Memory is actually a very complicated process, but it gets blamed for a lot of things it doesn't necessarily fail at. So memory is composed of 3 stages. The second is consolidation, and the third is retrieval. Today I'm focusing on encoding. And the reason I'm focusing on encoding is because that is where the vast majority of memory failures occur. When I use the term encoding, what I'm referring to is learning new information. Many of us think of learning and we think about students, and indeed students do a lot of learning, and it's actually their full-time job is to learn information. But we learn things every single day of our lives. There are so many memory taxing situations in our daily lives that we can only improve our lives by learning this new information. At Kessler Foundation, we've identified several techniques that aid in learning new information, and I'm going to tell you about 2 of those techniques today. The first one is imagery. Imagery is the process by which we attach a mental image or picture to a verbal idea. You can do this with almost anything. You might picture your house. By doing this, what you're essentially doing is forcing your brain to dually encode information. So the word house is being processed and remembered by your verbal memory networks. The image of the house is being processed and remembered by your visual spatial memory system, which is located more posteriorly in your brain. So what you're doing is you're increasing your brain activity and you're helping your brain to learn new information in more than one manner. Well, the secret is to combine unrelated material into one image. So you can take 5, 6, 7 ideas and you can incorporate them into one image. And I'm going to show you an example of this. You have to remember to buy butter and apples on your way home. Those are 5 completely unrelated pieces of information that you're going to need throughout your day. You can combine them into one image. And I'm going to show you how. If you look on the screen, in the center of the screen you see a face, a picture of a mother. That is best. The best image of a mother that you can use is your own mother, because that's the most salient image for you. Next, you'll notice that the particular mother on the screen is sitting in a butter churner. The final thing you had to remember was that last night you had to change your network password to the word blossom. That seems like it should be easy to picture. Blossoms. Now let's move on to another technique. We teach patients with MS and patients who have traumatic brain injury to use these techniques in their daily life. The second technique is context. Context refers to what comes before or follows a word. So if I need to remember the word house, going back to our previous example, I might say the old house on the hill was charming. I've enriched my memory for that word by providing more semantic meaning to it. Just like imagery, you can do this with extremely unrelated material. Let's say that you're running to the store and you have to pick up string beans, hot sauce, and a mop. 3 completely unrelated items located in different parts of the store that have very different uses. What you could create is a mini story where a man walks into a restaurant, proceeds to get ill, and the busboy had to come over with a mop. So the true power of context comes when you combine it with the imagery. So you have your little story of the man in the restaurant ordering the string beans and the hot sauce. And he has string beans in front of him with hot sauce on top. And maybe you have the busboy off to the right holding the broom with his hand on his hip. So at Kessler Foundation, we've been doing this research in traumatic brain injury. We teach these two techniques in a 10-session treatment protocol. It's 5 sessions per week for 2 weeks. And what we find after treatment is a significant improvement in someone's memory abilities. On our paper and pencil tests of memory functioning, where we ask patients to remember a list of words, they do substantially better after treatment than they do before. But more importantly, these patients are reporting that their memories in daily life are better. They're able to apply these techniques to their daily life. Their memory dysfunction is less impactful on their daily life. They want to pursue meaningful employment, which they weren't able to do beforehand because these memory difficulties can be so debilitating. We also see that the brain changes how it's learning and remembering information in only 10 sessions across 5 weeks before treatment. Just normal learning. On the right side of the screen, you see the brain of someone learning information after treatment. So what we see is significantly more activity after someone learns how to use these techniques than before. And this was a monumental finding, that we're actually able to change brain function in such a short period of time. Now, we've shown that these techniques are helpful for persons who have multiple sclerosis, persons who have traumatic brain injury, and we have additional research on it ongoing. Everyone can use these techniques. They're very simple, but they require practice, a lot of practice. The way we teach the techniques is we ask people to visualize. That's how we start. We give them a story, and we ask them to visualize. They communicate their images to us, and we provide feedback. We tell them how they might visualize better in a manner that might be more memorable for them. And we do the same with context. You can work with somebody else to try to improve your ability to visualize information and therefore remember information. The message I want you to take home with you today